Moving your defensive line before the ball is snapped is what's called stemming. And in this video, we're going to show you exactly how to install stemming into your defensive structure. That way you can confuse the offensive line. The reason why stemming is so important, I wanted to visually diagram this for you. That way you can understand about why, if you don't have it installed in, why you may want to think about installing it in. So let's say the offense is going to run power. Just by this look right here, the H-back's going to try to dig out this blood here. The guard and tackle are going to double team to the backside Sam. Center's going to block back. Guard's going to pull up and through for the Mike. And then we're going to get a kick out here with the tackle on the end. And then we'll revert the running back to the other side. And then he's going up here, okay? Simple 11 personnel power. The rules are all set. We're going to kick out the first guy after the tackle. This is how 90% of the teams run power. Well, let's say that pre-snap, our cadence is red 98, red 98 set hit. So red 98, he bumps out to a 5, he gets to a 0, and now you have this look here. Well, the H-back now needs to think on the fly. Well, I'm supposed to kick out the first guy outside the tackle. It was the blood end here. Now it's the tackle. So he's got to think on the fly in a matter of a second and a half, maybe a half a second, that he needs to revert his blocking schemes. The guard and tackle are no longer going to block this tackle anymore. They have to think on the fly as well. So you see what happens is, especially if you're facing a team that runs gap schemes, you're forcing them to think on the fly. Zone schemes a little bit tougher because everyone's taking a step to their gap anyways, but in true gap schemes, everyone's blocking down away from the play. And this is what allows you to stem and move the front to make at least 1 out of 5 offensive linemen mess up. In this situation, 1 out of 6 with the tight end mess up. So you can run a player free through the middle of the offensive coordinator be in a bind. So how do you install stemming? And this is what we found the easiest way. We're going to show you 2 different ways so that way you understand it, okay? The first way is going to be you start in whatever front you call, and then you insert a move to tag into it, and then get to your next front. So for instance, we said our G front was a 2I and a 3. Let's flip this horizontal so we look from a defensive perspective. So here's our 2I, here's our 3. So if we're going to call this G, and then let's say we want to get into our 33 front next, which means that both interior guys are going to go to 3 fronts. So we're going to go G, move to 33. So we can signal that in G, move to 33, and then we can call our coverage and blitzes behind it. So now we have to have a trigger point. The trigger point is where in the cadence are we going to say move? And this Mike linebacker, whoever you designate, Sam, is going to make a move call, or you can use a slide call. The biggest thing about when inserting one of these 2 words, just make sure it's not a go call or anything that the offense would use, or you're going to get flagged for it. So I like move. I also like slide as well, but it's telling everybody that something needs to happen. You need to designate your Mike or your Sam or someone on the interior line to make the call. I've also seen defensive linemen make the call as well. You can do either or. I think it's always good because the Mike or the Sam is standing up and they can see what's going on and they can make the call on time. But if you want to leave it to the defensive line, same thing, that's okay as well. So they're going to make a move call. So the biggest thing is when you're scouting a team, get their cadence. Is it color number, red 98 set hit? Is it a clap? Is it a foot stomp? So wherever you determine, I always like to be earlier better than later, because if you're late and he gets caught in the movement, he may not get off the football. So if it's red 98, I want to be on that second color. So red 98, red move, and then he would just get to a 33. So now we have 3 and 2 5s here. If you want to be a little bit more exotic and you want to get to your odd front stuff, so we can be in our tight front here and we can say tight move to G. So red 98, the Mike would yell move. He's sliding over to 2I, he's sliding over to his 3, and now he's down on the line of scrimmage here. So again, you can move from different fronts into different structures just by yelling move. Now, how do you do this effectively? And what we found is you have to practice it effectively, because if you just try to do this on the fly, it can get very chaotic. So first things first, if you don't have barrels, or we use our laundry basket shown here, we are getting on these things and working them at least 5 to 10 minutes per practice. And we're using stem periods, so we're doing is stemming from one look to the next look to see what the kids are comfortable with. There may be times in certain fronts that you can't get to other fronts, right? So if you're always putting your blood defensive end or your walked up edge linebacker, whatever you call him, he's always going opposite the back, well then it's going to be very tough to tell these guys, hey, I want to go our G stem to whatever it may be. Well, he's lined up over here, so how's he going to get over there and then get back to his position? So I recommend you draw everything up, but walk through it first on the baskets. Draw it first, walk through it on the baskets, and then start to implement it full speed into periods. Because if you just try to go from complex right off the bat, is where you're going to have some issues and confusion up front. Now, once you start to get confidence with your move calls, this is where we layer on top of the blitzes and the stunts and everything from there. So for this instance here, this is our team from this past year. What we did was we called, I believe it was two eyes. So we had our two interior guys and two eyes, and then we stemmed to the 33, and then we ran a zero blitz from there. So if you look, our players are starting here. The move call happens. You can see everybody space out, and then we hit a zero blitz in the inside. And if you watch this right tackle here, who's on the tight end releases, and then the tackle's supposed to kick out. But because of the movement, he gets confused and doesn't know who to hit, and we get a free rusher. Again, you're just trying to confuse one of the 5 offensive linemen to get a free hitter. Now, you see it better from the end zone here about what we're trying to do structurally. And I know the goalpost is in the way here, but you see the move calls made, everybody spaces out, and then we can hit that blitz through the middle there. But all of that was from doing this on the laundry baskets, again, 5-10 minutes a day, is getting on there, yelling that move call, and then trying to get the free hitters up and through the outside. But we found this is the easiest way, again, to start from just simple movement calls, going from your G to your 33 or your tight front to your even front and bouncing back and forth, to be able to, again, layer on these different looks. And then once you start to get creative with it, you can start to move guys out and then slant them back in. You can bring blitzes off the edge. There's so many things you can do with this to be creative. And you're not just running a static front anymore where everyone's just staying still. But this is a huge point in the game too. They were down on our goal line. This was a 4th down that we brought this blitz. And I thought our guys timed it up perfectly. If you watch the player here on the right side, he's making the move call. Again, move, slide, everyone slides out. And then we're able to hit it. And we get a couple free rushes up the middle there. The last thing we want to talk about, and this is the last progression to all of this, is being able to take your current front, instead of saying move to, right? Because the signals can get long. If I want to go this, move to this, a lot of hand signaling, a lot of verbiage. Instead, you can just use one words to get into what you need to. So for instance, if we want to go from tight to okie, think of word relations T-O-K, tight to okie. I can just say T-O-K, token, right? So if I just say, hey, I want to go token 2, which means we're running token, we're going to run Tampa 2 out of this. Our interior linemen know, hey, we are starting in tight, and then red 98, we are then going to slide to our okie front. So you see, token just means for these guys, start here, and then we can just get here with it. So again, you see how if teams want to fastball you and move quickly, you can just yell out, hey, token 2, token 2, token 2, and those guys know to get lined up, make the move call, and then get lined up in your Tampa 2 coverage. So there's, again, 100 different variations about how you can do this, but I recommend you start with the move call just to get you guys comfortable with the timing of the move, and then you can transition to single words to get more exotic with your front. If you do have any questions about stemming, let us know in the comment section below. We're happy to help out. And make sure you check out this video here next. We'll see you next time.